Here we are about to get into game number 3 here by Simon Gortzen and Carlos Romao. Gonna be an exciting game. We're getting into just game 3 here. Colorless ramp against Rakdos sacrifice. All right, Rakdos on the play here. My assumption is that Rakdos has a good matchup here. These colorless ramp decks really want to play against different mid-range decks and just go over the top with those style effects. You want to make sure you have enough time in the matchup to cast your really expensive stuff like Ulamog here. Rakdos doesn't give you that much time, though, which is a little brutal. All right. Pretty solid hands from both players here. Carlos able to just get Skyclave Shade after Skyclave Shade, which is going to really put the pressure on Simon here. But a nice draw here. Picking up some lands is really all you want with this hand full of Maze Mine Tomes and Mind Stones here. Just be able to ramp yourself out, start drawing some cards, and try to find some answer to this really aggressive start. But you got to put the advantage bar in favor of Carlos. Okay, yeah, and correction, excuse me, this is game 2 as we were seeing here. Simon is up 1. All right. Thoughtseize from Carlos. Interesting here if you want to pick Sorcerer Spyglass to take, so your Chandra is unlocked, or if you want to take Maze Mine Tome. I think Mind Stone isn't necessarily something you want when you have 2 of them. And we do have a small technical difficulty with Ailey. She will be returning shortly. For now, you just get me. All right, Maze Mine Tome, scrying here, putting Ugin on top, just an 8-drop. Yes, please. All right. Now it's the real question if we're going to have time to get to Ugin. I mean, 8-mana spell is pretty tricky here. And the one thing that is really brutal from Simon's side here is these Maze Mine Tomes almost exclusively have to be used every turn and isn't really given the time to use the draw ability from the tome. So not really gaining any card advantage, just card manipulation with the scry. Not ideal, but when you're being attacked for 6 here, it is something you just have to do, is try to gain some life from these tomes. Chandra hitting the battlefield, ticking up, dealing 2 damage. Maze Mine Tomes doing exactly that, getting some scries in here from Simon. All right, a second scry, see what we find here. Bottom. Looking like we're thinking about an upkeep scry, really recognizing that Simon has to find something here. Find something to be able to stop this onslaught here. Otherwise, this game is going to be over here in a couple of turns. Do we want the land? That's why the Ugin, topping the Ugin there was pretty interesting to me, because the 2 shades were already on the battlefield. So thinking that you're going to be able to have enough time to cast that Ugin is a little ambitious, to say the least. Karn the Great Creator, something very good to have early for Simon, because you can Karn, maybe get a cage to stop the sacrifice shenanigans that Carlos is going to be throwing at him. But, you know, Carlos does have this draw where you don't really have to have the sacrifice element, the graveyard element, where Cage actually shuts it down. You could just have this draw where you just play some 3/1s, and it's usually good enough against this ramp deck. All right, Karn the Great Creator hitting the battlefield. We might actually see the rare animate your own artifact here to do a blocker. Okay, decides against it, but making that Tome a 2/2 blocker here, it might have been okay. Chandra, of course, could take it out as well. But... All right, back to Carlos here. Picks up land number 5. Not necessarily exactly what you want, but still looking good for Carlos. All right, see what we find. Another shock. All right. So now all Carlos is thinking is, do I just want to jam everything at the face, put Simon down to 3? Now we do see the tome at 3 and 1. So 3 is effectively 7 right now because Simon is able to just gain some life next turn. But yeah, I think this makes a lot more sense too. Since you can still line up lethal next turn, you want to attack Karn, make sure there's not any really powerful artifact that we can get to stabilize this board, and then still set up lethal next turn. So great play there from Carlos. Scries an Aether Hub to the top. And now let's see, we got 5 mana with Aether Hub. Mind Stone makes 6. And then you can Sorcerer Spyglass to shut down that Chandra altogether. Still going to be pretty far away from Ugin. And if you shut down Chandra, that means you're only taking 6, 7, 8 next turn because the 2 Skyclave Shades can attack. Then you can actually activate Priest and deal 2 extra damage. But with the tome being able to put Simon up to 10, not quite lethal. Not quite lethal this turn. So unless Carlos has a nice top deck here, we are going to probably see at least one more turn from Simon Gortzen here. Spyglass coming down. Make sure you don't pick the wrong Chandra. I've done that before. I'm sure plenty of y'all in chat has done that as well. It's quite frustrating. One land that we do want to keep an eye on right now from Simon's side is that Blast Zone. I don't know if we're really going to have time to tick it up. But if we can, tick it up to 2 could buy an entire combat step for you here.
Corey, who are you talking to? Are you just, is this
Marshall?
just...
Yeah, I've just been really just going off to myself. I've been
You've
really
been doing
going
great, man. I'm like, wow, this guy's just carrying the whole thing. Well done.
This is what I do at home. This is what I do at home when I'm just watching Magic. I just talk to myself over and over.
Yeah, I always tell people play-by-play is a really hard job, but you're making me look bad here. So what's going on in the match here, Corey, as we come in? We're going to work on getting Ailey back to your partner, but yeah.
Gotcha. I'll catch you up here. We got Rakdos here from Carlos looking pretty good here in game 2, but Simon actually picked up game 1 in what I would think would be a pretty tough matchup for the colorless ramp side.
Okay, yeah, you can see that Ugin the Spirit Dragon in hand, the big reset perhaps.
Yeah.
Available here. The question is, can you survive long enough to actually make that work? It looks like this Maze Mind Tome may be the only thing keeping Simon alive here.
Yeah, and the Ugin, the thing that really surprised me from Simon early on is almost Snap kept that on the top when he only had like 3 lands. And
oh, wow.
With 2 Skyclave Shades already on the battlefield. So it was, it seemed ambitious at the time, but it definitely could be the only thing to save him.
Well, it's going to be gone now, or the Extinction Event in hand, because you see Thoughtseize go into hand after the activation of the Priest of Forgotten Gods there for Carlos. And this is going to make life extremely difficult. In fact, there's also a Cauldron Familiar. I mean, Simon's going to be at 1 here.
Yeah, and really brutal that Simon had to activate that tome there because the Extinction Event was drawn. So, you know, you can't really hide that here from the colorless side.
Right. Yeah, this one looks like no bueno here for Simon Gortzen.
Yeah, that was and a really nice pickup from Carlos there, getting the Midnight Reaper. Even if there's another Extinction Event on top, at least you diversify your converted mana cost a little bit.
And since there's not 8 mana available and no way to get there next turn for Simon, Carlos just says, all right, well, I'll take Extinction Event and good luck with the top of your library, my friend.
You're going to need it.
There could be a Scry 1 here on the upkeep. But
so Marshall, I know you and Paul were just such a big fan of this colorless ramp deck. I know you guys were playing it a little bit yesterday. Yeah. Did you actually just sabotage Ailey's internet so that you could get in and call this game with this deck?
There would be no proof of that.
Oh, okay. I was trying to
Right.
create the proof, but yeah, all right.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm not going to confess. I know how this game works.
Smart man, not walking into that one.
Nope. So now it's pure desperation time here for Simon. Needs to just crack the Maze Mine Tome as well as probably
Mhm.
the Mind Stone there, though I don't really know what could be found at this point. The Ugin's going to be stranded in hand here, and there's just too much on the other side. Yeah, that game is going to go to Carlos Romao, picking up the victory there in game number 2.
Yeah, being on the play though from this colorless ramp side seems a lot more important. Being against other mid-range decks, I feel pretty good, with the colorless ramp deck in my hand, but up against aggro, it feels almost unwinnable on the draw. And then on the play, you can really muster something up to defend yourself.
That's right. Yeah, really interesting to see how the sideboard plays out as well from Carlos's perspective, because when you look at what Simon's doing, it's very one note, shall we say,
Yeah.
right? It wants to play the 2-mana artifact ramp card on 2, and then it wants to drop one of its good 4s, either a Karn type card or either a couple of ramp cards or something along those lines, and then start hitting the big stuff. Of course, it has a nearly unassailable late game, as it can do just absurdly powerful things once it gets going. But yeah, I don't know if getting there. Whoa, look at that opening hand.
Just a total converted mana cost of like 32 right there. If you add up all the cards, no big deal.
Incredible. And it's a keep.
It's a keep.
I'm actually really surprised. A lot of times, perfect. A lot of times you'll keep a Zhalfirin Void hand hoping to find the 2-mana artifact ramp. And then Simon will say, okay, well, I'll keep the Maze Mine Tome because I can start aggressively scrying for exactly that. Well, you know what? Right on top, Guardian Idol.
Yeah, that was huge, especially with this Thoughtseize taking away your only, play that you could make for a while. I guess Simon just keeps this off the strength of Extinction Event, just because that card seems so important against these sacrifice decks, but doesn't even have black to cast it.
Yeah, the Maze Mine Tome actually was pretty important here, because while it is always really nice to get the idol down, almost no matter what, there will be no super relevant play next turn as the real stuff starts at 4. Although if near Deadlands is actually probably the ideal draw here, isn't it?
Yeah, wow, that was unreal. That was about perfect because, we even see Bedevil up top there that can just take care of this idol to even slow him down even more. But at least the land there was pretty needed with this hand.
That's right. So Bedevil is going to go on the stack here from Carlos. That's going to take care of the idol. But hey, another land off the top. At this point, that's about all you could hope for.
Yeah, but my eyes just keep coming up to that insanely powerful 5-mana Planeswalker with Angrath. I mean, I even got to look this up to see all those things, but I know this card is going to be devastating if it lands.
No, you're totally right. I think Hedron Archive is probably the card that Simon wants the most at this point. The issue is that, this deck has enough cards to function.
Yeah.
But Maze Mine Tome's great too. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him activate it right away. Hoping to keep hitting these land drops. Okay, Sorceress Spyglass, and it'll be a turn late for Angrath, but still probably much needed.
Yeah, you got some spare cards to discard here if you're Simon. But one thing I would love to see, I don't think we're going to see it with the Spyglass being cast, is you ever -3'd an Angrath onto an Ulamog? That seems the best possible thing you can do with that card.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Attack for 10.
So there goes the big kid Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger into the graveyard. Simon recognizing that it is unlikely that he gets to the point of casting that this game, and that maybe hoping to cast a Ugin the Spirit Dragon or 2 is maybe the best you could possibly hope for at this point, though things are looking dire for Simon, no doubt about it. Now, another interesting draw here is Blast Zone, Corey, which is at this juncture a bit slow, but it is the type of card that can wipe out Mayhem Devils or similar.
Yeah, exactly. And the one thing that is pretty unfortunate for Carlos fans here is Carlos looked like, when we started this game, you look at the hands and it's like, okay, Carlos has probably got this. Carlos has been flooding really badly.
Oh, good point. I've really just been focusing down on Simon's hand because really it felt like the pressure was on him to do something. And if he can, he'll win the game. And if he can't, he usually won't. But hey, Carlos does need to maintain some level of pressure. And while he has some, it may not be enough with Extinction Event going into hand here as well, Corey.
Unreal.
Whoa, would you name even or odd? What are you feeling here?
I'm quite the odd person just in general, so I just always name odd, and luckily it works out this time. Yeah.
Wow. You got to balance your range. You don't want to name the same thing every time, but
Interplanar Beacon, a really nice one here too. Just gaining a little bit of extra life here. The utility lands in this colorless ramp deck is really cool.
And you see the upkeep activation once again on Maze Mind Tome. It's really important that you use that card every turn, even if you can't afford to draw the card off of it, so that you can make sure to get the life. Because as we know, even with not a great draw here from Carlos with a lot of lands, look at Simon's life totals getting a little bit lower. But boy, that Extinction Event was exactly what he needed. Woestrider now back on the battlefield for Carlos, so at least something. But now all of a sudden, those Ugins are starting to come within range here.
No kidding. And
we're a mana away.
Yeah, and when your lands are helping you buy a little bit of time here with this Radiant Fountain and stuff, things are really starting to look Simon's way here.
They are indeed. The Ugin, the Spirit Dragon, looks amazing here. There are some board states where it doesn't do well, but against Carlos's Rakdos Sacrifice deck, the combination of taking out everything at once and then also exiling anything that was not sacrificed beforehand can be really powerful in that, take away any other synergy. Are you serious? Another Extinction Event? What is going on here, Corey?
I think Simon is really trying to make Carlos extinct in this game, it seems like.
I think that's the third he's drawn this game, right? Didn't he have one Thoughtseize or something?
One Thoughtseize and then cast two at very timely moments here. Unreal.
Carlos didn't find anything on top of the library. He had to put it on the bottom. And look at that. No. He finds another land and scoops him up. Remember, he knew what was in hand there for Simon Gortzen.